want to thank Alaska Quarterly Review for inviting me to be part of this reading. I'm really honored. Thank you, Ron Spatz. It's nice to finally meet you remotely. Thanks, Cody and Heather. Pumpkin turning yellow as the face of a discharged general, autumn 2019. James Wright, what would you think of us now? These days, to be a discharged general is generally to be right. The sallow faces of pumpkins are now the faces of a president lying again and again and again at the ends of vines askew in the autumn fields. Harris Farms sells sunflowers $1 a stalk. In buckets they loom, and one by one they are stark and strong. So heavy the thought of taking one home is a little alarming. 3.9 million ghosts coming out of the shadows are being chased back in. Every evening, the deer step into the yards to graze, and sometimes even onto the road, where their hooves ring hollow like little bells. The willows go dusky inside before dusk, then withdraw along with the other trees under the aloft mercy of the moon. Well, this poem was published in Alaska Quarterly, and it will be in my forthcoming chapbook called Human Figures, which will be out in February on Diagram, New Michigan Press. It's based on a 1950s photograph. 4 mannequins with suitcases dressed for a journey. I can understand raindrops can distort the song of birds, so we may not know which direction the song is coming from. But I don't understand the uncanny valley, the changeless faces of mannequins, or the factory owner who says she walks among their bodies at night and is not afraid. Can they even be said to have bodies? Made with care, she says, made individually, and I'm hearing affection not unlike how birds in cages begin to sing when the shower comes on. Whatever they hear must resemble something important by instinct. Bodies, yes, in the sense of giving form to what was once abstract. For instance, 4 mannequins in travel wear, each figure's attitude an ode to patience, same as wasted time, same timetable to read, same train about to come. The window sign, Vogue, suggests. Then words too small to read without a telescope. This might have mattered, what we wore on Earth, faces they wore, that bright, alert urbanity makes out of poise, and why we wanted them that way. The factory workers are sanding haunches and torsos, tops of heads, anywhere a mannequin gets round, and the workers seem to do this respectfully, I swear. Of course, they know they're being filmed. A gentle roar is how I do not want to describe the sound of falling water heard at a distance. Dull instead of gentle doesn't get us any closer in a shopping mall to why the mannequins all are headless now. Headless has happened before. It will happen again. We are passing through yet another definition of apperception I do not quite understand. Instinct, a prompting, maybe why the heart recoils at what resembles such composure, bright faces, pointless gestures, never to suppose an end to come, not even lightly. Old dog, old friend, old night. It seems you can't help me. You can't help anyone. In a way, I have invented you, so it isn't your fault you are not there, like no one sitting outside on the steps. This absence feels closer than any version of having broken up with, say, a childhood house. Broken up not because someone else is living there, because walking through its rooms is like being trapped in a shopping mall all night and scared of myself because nobody shops at night. Herbert arrived at prayer as something understood. Though you are not God, and I don't think of this as prayer, but I'm grateful for any clues to your deep and provisional silence. Other nights, I'm able to take a mental walk to the lake, and mostly it isn't lonely. The houses come back as I get near, and so does that field of uncut grass. Sometimes a deer arrives at the end of the woods or back between houses. The now gone dog is always asleep on a certain stoop and dreaming its way past death. Sometimes I don't even get as far as the lake. And if I do, I can't seem to summon it except as a darkish blank beyond the seawall and the meager beach. However far I get, I always start at the house on Aylesworth. This is a real place. I'm serious. You can find it on Google Earth. And while you do, I'll think of the angels in Giotto's Lamentation looking down, weeping and pressing their hands and robes to their eyes as if trying on a grief that could turn off every light on earth. Old dog, old friend, old night. I don't know why I can never seem to imagine your side of the conversation. There are companies looking into ways of restoring to us our dead as virtual presences. We'll be able to joke with them. We can ask them for advice, but nobody's solved the need for multi-turn conversations. Those ways that together used to drift some days. Some days you don't even have to be there. What I just got from you was a feel of what matters, like something small I know to be true about birds, a thing so common as not to need to be remembered. Maybe about flying, maybe not, but part of the present situation, a momentary sense, or just being here, listening for the bird or angel behind a cloud or door. Let's see. I guess I would say about this one that Franz Marc was a German painter who, when he was a soldier in World War I, kept a sketchbook of pencil drawings. And these next two poems are pencil poems. How to camouflage the essence of the animal. The peaceful horse, for starters, has to go. Cradled by pencil lines, it grazes on, head down, its eyes a smudge. The poor horses, writes Franz Marc in a letter home. Horse with a burst appendix, moaned and groaned like a human being. Shadows, trees, a field come to mean dodging, a deception, bunk. Artillery, a combat boot, the rows of huts covered in blotches of green-brown paint to look like leaves, a sniper snugged inside the artificial carcass of a horse. No Prussian blue, earth red, no alizarin crimson here. Then how with graphite to disguise inner necessity of the horse, the anima, now rolling joyfully in hay, now to die from infection, now sigh, like a man being shaken out of a lively dream, no longer sweetly present, now lower its head to the unfinished dream of a pencil. Surf's Up, and you may recognize that from a song. Surf's Up. In a sketch of horses, pencil is a softer means, line and shade and smudge, approximation, all the tones in gray as it tracks the meticulous blur of a horse's leg in the act of galloping almost away. I would learn to say things softer as water maybe reaches shore. There are signs of rotation tonight, too high in the clouds to have anything to do with us down here. Not yet, don't worry yet. Counties north and south are getting clobbered by a million lightning strikes. Here, it's sort of a muted flickering on the other side of the clouds. Take cover, shouts the Channel 3 weatherman to those distant counties. Sometimes you have to say it that way, like blowing through a grass blade anchored between the thumbs. But in some far off over there at the lake, maybe, it doesn't have to be. The storm is over. Once the lake is quiet, a storm doesn't matter anymore. I imagine the barely audible sound of a pencil sketching the Lake Michigan shoreline. Sky full of cirrus, uncinus high above, mare's tails, they call them. -40 below up there. You wouldn't even breathe anymore. Maybe finally we could talk. Is there a room for those crystal threads? Surfs up. I'm hearing the voice of Brian Wilson sail so high from amid his and anyone's muddled life, right in the middle of everything. There it is, surfs up, a moment of clarity, a moment of forwardness, slides out of words into, I can almost hear you way on the other side. Thanks so much.